Hi, and thanks for joining the SJ Child Show. The SJ Child Show brings value to families through education and resources. But the SJ Child Show isn't just about me, it's about us as a community. Join me as we help educate and support our community, help bring kindness and love and inclusion to all. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen and watch. I really appreciate all the support from all of the viewers and listeners, and I just want to let you know I want you to join me on this journey. Come and follow my social media, and let's do this together. Enjoy the show. Hi, and welcome to the SJ Child Show. I'm your host, SJ Childs, and today I have a really special guest, Anna. Oh my gosh, Reeves. I'm not. I just like freeze up. My brain freezes up. I don't want to hurt anybody's names. No,
Anna Zekalo. Thank you. You got it. See?
So silly. Confidence now. No, yeah. It's so excited to have you today and to have this great fun conversation. It's going to be lighthearted and just really great topics. Two things I absolutely love: kids and food. Yeah. So it's great to have you here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Really a pleasure.
It's really exciting. I'm excited for learning about the services and the stories and experiences that you've had. Tell us how it all got started.
Yeah, so my Tiny Chefs is the company name, and we actually have now grown to Tiny Chefs franchise. So we have two different companies with that. It started a long time ago in 2006 when I was teaching kindergarten, and I just brought an oven into my classroom and started cooking with my kids. And I had, at that time I'd been teaching 2 years at the school, and so I was well known, and basically it got so popular, my cooking. It became an after-school enrichment program at that school and at all through DC Metro. So
wow.
It spread that way. And I also did at-home birthday parties. So I was sort of a one-man show at the time, never anticipating that it would even grow into a business. It was just something that I loved dear, cooking and teaching kids, and brought it together.
Oh, so beautiful. Two of my absolute favorite things. And I enjoy it, even though I haven't shared it with the community. I definitely share it in my family and with our kids too. So that's so great. Well, tell us more about it and, kind of the fun things that you guys get to do.
So we do summer camps with kids, and we do after school enrichment cooking classes. And before the pandemic, I would say that we were in, 80 different schools on any given semester. And super busy here in the DC metro area with camps. And then of course, at home birthday parties. And then, those school days, I've got my dog here with me. So
you're fine.
Those days off, the school days off when parents still have to go to work, but kids are home. We also offer, weekday classes for that. So a variety of things. And now with the pandemic, we've created a program where we do live virtuals, or you can just go to our website, and it's like, I feel like I'm in a candy shop. I go in there and I'm like, ooh, I would do that. And you just can buy these pre-recorded videos of cooking with our instructors. So much to offer.
Yeah, definitely. And tell us what happened, kind of what is the first step when a child wants to be introduced to being a chef? Like, what do you say, or you tell parents, like, this is what you look for? How do you foster that?
So really it's an interest. So there are a lot of kids that come to us with, knowledge that they've already learned. And a lot of kids come to us and they've never done anything in the kitchen, really. And so we figure out, how, and some kids, to be honest, come to us because their parents want them to cook, right?
Yeah, right.
May or may not want to be there, but most kids are there because they want to explore. And we figure out real quick, you can kind of watch their body language and listen to their words to find out how much exposure have they had to cooking. And we just take them from where they are and then bring them to a place of empowerment. And
Yeah.
so we strive to facilitate the cooking process where we're not in there doing, because it's very easy to take control as an adult, especially as a parent in your kitchen. It's very easy to say, I'll do that. You can help mommy stir. Well, in our classes, we really want to encourage kids to do things that they maybe don't feel comfortable with. We'll say, like, they'll say, oh, I've never cracked an egg before. And then we'll say, well, you can do it today, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if they're like, no, I can't, we're not going to force them to, but we're going to obviously keep encouraging that in them.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that because they really do learn through their own trial and error. And it's hard to, as a parent, put the boundaries up, but let them free within those boundaries to have that expression. Our daughter, learned how to fry an egg and make herself an egg when she was 8 or 9. And now she's scrambling eggs for her friends. It's the cutest thing ever. Yeah. And it's just, it makes it, yeah. At first we were like at the other side of the kitchen, don't burn yourself. Don't touch we tried to helicopter parent a little, but at the mostly, just guided her through the process. And then once we know that she knows the proper steps, she's very kind of authoritarian in her own way. And so she's just sticks to the rules, follows, and we don't have to worry about, she's definitely our rule keeper of the kids.
Because you took what she was interested in and then you ran with it. And I think that's really important when, as a parent, it's important not to, like, if you love cooking, it's important not to put that on them and say, well, now you must know. So
right.
if the child is like, I don't really want to yet, then just go with that and then just keep modeling and exposing. And then eventually it probably will click.
Exactly. Oh, I completely see that. I remember when we used to watch, what was the kids cooking show that they did the judging. Anyways, on the Food Network. Anyways, we used to watch that when she was really little, Chop Junior. That's what it was. Yeah. And so we had done a vision board once, and she was like 5 years old doing this vision board with me. And she was outlining what she wanted when she was 8 years old, 10 years old, 13, and 18 or something. It was incredible. And one of the things was to win Chop Junior, and so we just found this, and she's 10 now. So this is 5 years. We just pulled it out the other day, and she says, what's Chop Junior? She's out the window, right? But that's okay. We don't have to force our kids to have an interest, or if they think that when they're little, they want to be an Air Force pilot, or what did she say? Air Force police officer. I don't have to hold her to those standards now. She was 3. Like that was exciting, but yeah.
Yeah, there's an evolution of self. And we have a lot of kids that stay with us because we're constantly changing up our menus and our themes for the kids that want to keep recurring and coming back. And so we see the kids growing all the way through into their teens.
I love that. And that's an important time to really have that interest for them to be focused on something positive, something that creates great results, so that they end measured results at that. So that's really important for kids and into teens. What is the earliest age that they can start?
3 years old.
Oh my gosh, that's great. No kidding.
Yeah.
I love that.
Either with and we do like parent and child classes. So it's really important that they have their parent with them. We do start our birthday parties a little bit older, just because it's a little bit easier on our instructors. So, but 3 years old, and at the time we go all the way up to middle school.
So the kids do the birthday parties, or no kidding, really?
Well, here, what you mean, I don't know what you mean by that.
Oh, I was going to say, you guys do the birthday parties as you guys do the cooking, or you go and do classes for birthday parties?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. And we do, it's an at-home, it's a cooking party in their house is what it is.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's great. Great thinking, and great way to use like real life functional things to build kids skills and, like you said, empower them. It's so important. And what kind of, what do the parents think? Are they, they're saying, oh, kids are cooking dinners now? I mean,
Yeah. So that's funny. I was just kind of thinking about something that happened, and then you asked me that question. So I
perfect.
remember when I first started Tiny Chefs, and I had done the after school cooking class at my school, and then it was summertime. And I said, I really want to come to your homes. Who wants me to come? And I gathered 6 kids, and we went to each one of them hosted. And then we would cook, I remember this one time we cooked chicken cordon bleu. And so I brought the chicken and the ham and the cheese and all the herbs, and they cooked it. And the parents were like, how is this happening? So I would leave, and a couple weeks later, the kids were like, can I make chicken cordon bleu? And the parents were like, excuse me, like, this is so fancy.
I love that.
They were 5. These were 5 and 6 and 7 year olds.
Wow. Oh, that's incredible. They really know what they want to, and when, what they want to make. And yeah, my little one is so healthy. She eats yogurt with plain oats and honey on it almost every morning for breakfast. And I'm just like, admire how smart she can be with food.
Yeah.
And what kind of like advice or help might it be for maybe a child with more food sensitivities?
So I have a daughter with allergies, and she's allergic to egg and tree nuts. And we're a tree nut company, so we always have that across the board. We're not worried about it. But say if we're working with, fruit, and we're about to make like a strawberry tart, and then we get our roster of kids and we realize Johnny's allergic to strawberries. So we just change up the fruit, and we don't, but I think it's very good for things like that to happen, because then we can teach kids in cooking. Look, if you go to the grocery store and there are no strawberries, what are you going to do? Right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to
Improvise.
got to know how to be flexible. And if you're cooking for guests, and not everybody, like I'm gluten free, I have celiac. And so I've had to change so many things, and it just is what it is. It's actually a blessing in disguise, to be honest.
Oh my gosh, I bet I'm gonna have to get some recipes from you. We have a son that is gluten free, and he has been for a decade. And both there were not a lot of options back then. And luckily he's kind of not. I don't know if it's lucky, but he's our very pickiest eater on the spectrum, and so he only has his variety of gluten-free bread that he eats, or certain cheese that he eats, or anything. It's just this one brand, and of course you can't trust that.
Yeah, and he knows. So what his body is telling him to be careful. And it's so interesting you say that. Before my daughter came down with an allergic reaction to eggs. It was 2 years. She was 2 years old. I remember specifically she was making French toast, and obviously she had her hands in the eggs, dipping the bread. And right after that, she developed this big hive on her face, and her body. And it was interesting too. She never wanted to try baked goods, and I was always kind of like, you don't want to try this bread, and
right?
Too. Her body like instinctively knew, like, stay away.
I love that.
Right?
It's so important that we listen to that. I advocate for that all the time. And that was kind of when we were talking, excuse me, prior to recording, how I said we live a little bit of a different kind of looking lifestyle. And that is also that we let our kids eat biologically when they're hungry and what they want to eat. Like we don't offer just one meal on a plate and shove it in your mouth. What good, go and weigh and go, because it's okay. It's okay to accommodate your kid. Like they're a human being, and they have just as more you start treating them like a human, the more human they'll be able to treat others, and kind of get that respect between, other peers in the future. But yeah, it's so important. And I see my daughter, she's, like I said, she's 10. She's the wisest person in our family. No, but she doesn't like red meat. She, had a bad experience. It bothered her stomach. She says, I don't want it. It doesn't matter how wonderful her dad says this steak is, or how many times, somebody offers anything. Like, no, she's not going to do it. And that is so like insightful. For one, like, how dumb are we as adults? We just completely are like, oh, it doesn't matter. Whatever. And it's interesting that she is just so following her biology and listening to her body. And that's the most important thing we can teach our kids.
I love that you said that about the eating because, I was raised to eat everything on my plate. And
Me
then,
too.
it's just, I don't follow that philosophy either. And, my kids will say to me, well, they used to say to me, am I done eating? And so I would say, I don't know. Are you done eating? What does your stomach tell you? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. And so I play this game. Like, I have no idea if you're done eating. Are you full? Like,
Yeah.
you tell me. And I'm very much about kids internally checking in with themselves. And when we force them to eat something, and this is, I'm eating meatloaf and you have to eat meatloaf, it's actually numbing them to their own checking in with themselves.
Yeah.
And I don't,
You
yeah.
have to teach them to do that. And I think that's through allowing them independence in a safe space, in a place called home where they can, and I kind of reference a lot to my oldest daughter, who, like I said, we kind of like, did the best we can with what we had at the time, which was our parenting skills from our parents. But 1970s doesn't look the same as 2022. They are so different. And you can't expect the same type of things to happen because their exposure is completely different, first of all. And so I see kind of the let them dye their hair when they're at home and they're little, and they get the fake, waxes that they put in and they wash it out, and then their baths all colored. It's the most exciting thing ever. And they're building their self of expression. And then when they get out in the world, they don't feel like they have to burst out and do all of that then and try to be an adult, right?
Can we be friends?
Yes, 100%. I told you when I saw Anna, first of all, because that's her name, I was like, yep, this is it.
I got my 12-year-old has bright red hair.
Oh gosh.
He just started doing it she started 6th grade, and she went in on the first day with hot pink hair. And then, then it was purple. And my kids, my younger two are 10. I have twins that are 10 as well.
Okay.
So we have similar age.
That's so funny.
But they've been messing with makeup and nails, and like, I don't care. Like, I need it to happen now before later, and we don't want that.
100%. And parents can't wrap their minds around that. Some parents, they can't understand that letting them have this freedom now, even though, yes, they're too old to wear hot red lipstick and, high thighs out of the house. But who cares if they're making a fake video? Like, don't really post it because they're kids, but let them express themselves, let them have the fun. And I see that in my daughter. And I, in fact, was just thinking this today. I was thinking she wants to dress like a teenager so badly, but that's what we do when we're children. We look to teenagehood, and that's what we're going to become. So that's what we want to start becoming. And there's nothing wrong with that. It is the natural course of life. Like, it's evolution, right? It's just growing. But we want to shove our kids in this like bubbly stifle and say, no, you're not old enough for that. Well, we bought her, like, just like you said, makeup and all of those things. Like, when grandmas call, what do they want for Christmas? Get her a makeup kit and go to Walgreens. Don't get her one of those fake princess ones online. Like, get her good makeup that she can practice, because then when she goes to a job interview, she's gonna look classy and she's not gonna look like she's splashed some blue stuff on.
Right. You're so right.
Yeah. It's crazy. Oh, it's hard. It's hard to be a parent and be open-minded and free thinking and giving your children that same respect and space, but it's the best way to do it.
And they're watching you too. I was going to say, and I forgot, but they're looking at you, and there were questions like, my 12-year-old doesn't want to wear makeup. She loves the hair color, and she loves the jewelry, and now she's exploring clothes. When she was in 3rd grade, it was basketball shorts and a t-shirt. And I was like, well, that's what it is. But now it's different. But my younger two, they've always been doing like, why do you put on makeup? You're not going anywhere. And I think to that point, most of the days I put on makeup because it shows them that you're doing it for you also.
Yeah.
And some days I don't
Yeah,
wear makeup, right? And so it's not a hard set fast rule where I have to put it on. I'm fluid with it.
exactly.
And yeah, they've gone to soccer practice with like crazy nails and like weird concealer on, and their friends were like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, they're just experimenting because they can."
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's so interesting to think of the consequences of letting them express themselves in their home versus the consequences of them expressing themselves outside of the home without the safety of you
All
around.
seen that. We've all seen the college, what goes on in the
it's
college.
it's hard to wrap your head around that and to really say, okay, am I giving this child the best course of action to take them with them into adulthood, or are they going to have to relearn? Now they have to learn how to be an adult because I wouldn't let them.
And learn how to tap. And for me, it's that tapping into knowing, tapping
Mm.
into themselves. Because if you, geez, it's like if you as a parent stranglehold all of their choices, then when they finally get to make their own choices, they're going to start modeling and mimicking all the friends that they see. If
Yes.
there's already insecurities, they're going to be vibrationally in alignment with other insecure people. And then it's just this, disempowering place.
Yes.
Whereas what you and I are talking about is the opposite. They're finding their voice. They're finding, who am I? Who am I? I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Because yeah, and it's just so great. I
I
love
think so too. I do too. I'm so excited that we got to connect and make all these great connections because obviously our values are just on point. So
that.
it's awesome. What kind of cooking? So you basically start them at maybe like measuring and putting together recipes and things like that. Walk us through kind of like what a little class would look like.
Yeah, so depending on the age, so I'll walk you through the difference between making the same recipe, but the difference between with a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old
I
and
love
then
that.
a 10 or yeah. So we tried to do that. We really do. So if you're making like let's just say apple pie, okay, and you're working with the younger group, you're going to buy the pre-made pie mix or pie dough already, cold and chilled. You bring that in, and then you're going to take your apples and you're going to cut them up into a quarter. And then each child gets a quarter of an apple, and then you're teaching them how to cut, maybe with like a little. We use these plastic knives, these lettuce knives, or even just the cutlery,
Yeah.
like the picnic ware knives, and they're doing that. And then they're mixing in the cinnamon and the flour, and they're putting the apples in it, and it's easy, and they're rolling the dough. If we're working with the older kids and we have the time, they're making their own dough, right? And then
Amazing.
they're obviously taking a whole apple, and we're teaching them maybe how to peel the apple. The younger ones are not doing the peeling, right? And then we're teaching them or to core. Both of them can core, but do you see what I'm saying? It's just a
Yeah.
little bit more advanced. So they don't know that the other's doing more because they don't need to know. It has to be on their level.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that's so exciting and to give them ideas of what they can create and to be able to taste their creations. That I'm sure that that's an exciting part of it. After you do you have like a little taste
Yeah.
tests or what do you guys do after that?
What's hilarious is a lot of kids when I used to teach because I did all of these events. You get the kids who would like eat it all up, and then you'd get the kids who would take like one taste bite. Some kids would be like, I don't even like that. I don't want to try it, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got the kids who take a little bit and then they're like preserving it so they can. This is so precious. They want to take it home and share it amongst their entire family
Oh,
because that also you think about that, that's giving them that affirmation,
so
that
proud of themselves.
recognition, significance that kids are craving anyway, right?
Ah, I love that. Yeah, and I can see that in serving her friends, when she has her little scrambled eggs and serving her friends on the porch. And
I
that's
love
so
that.
cute. Yeah, and it really helps, like you said, that to know that she can provide for herself and at 10 years old, like that we would never, make her. It's not like we are heading out for the night and like, peace out, good luck for dinner. That's not the case. In fact, it was so funny. I was talking to somebody yesterday who does a therapy program, and he was talking about how the type of parenting we're talking about is not a hands-off, like closed-eyed parenting. It
Yeah.
is actually more insightful and more like watching and more kind of on alert, if you will, to make sure that it's kept in a safe, you know, good vibration kind
Yeah.
of environment where they're really gaining a sense of being a better person all the time, and not diminishing that, learning how to argue or, with their friends or whatever. So
Right.
because
Yeah.
it's hard. Like little kids are hard when they especially pick up things from other people and they bring that home, and then you have to kind of sort through those things with them. And it's so good to have some open communication and trust with your child to be able to do
It
those
is.
things.
It's
Yeah.
about trust and about, really when kids are misbehaving, it's for one of a couple of reasons. Either they're not getting that significance and that attention that they are so craving, or there's an adult or another sibling that's controlling them
Mm.
and really giving them that, like, so what I do is give them that power to control as much of the environment that they can. You're obviously, there's an extreme, like you said, there's an authoritative extreme, and then there's a too dismissive of like, I don't care about you.
Yeah.
And then there's the middle where, yeah, what do you want to eat tonight is a common question in my house.
Yeah.
Right. And I think
And
it's
like
really
I said, it might be two different things. It might be two different options
right.
because it's okay. Like I don't have some gala that I'm preparing for every night before dinner that my time is so important that I can't make a side dish
Right.
of something that
All about
somebody else
side dishes.
prefers, right?
It
It's
is.
yeah.
It's all about those side dishes. That's how I stay sane, is because I'm an adventurous eater, and my one daughter is an adventurous eater, and then my other two are just like, nope, no thanks. And so I don't want to deprive myself, and I don't want
Yes.
to deprive Becca.
Yeah.
So the side items are what keeps me sane. Like, okay, you don't have to eat my pot roast dish, but there's four other things that you can have. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, that's exciting. I think that that's such a wonderful, obviously we parent just in the best way possible. So yay for us. Learn from us, listeners and viewers. It is a really successful, rewarding way to make relationships with your kids. And I mean, I see it firsthand every day. And I love that we can ask our kids like, what is the most if you could say that you remember one thing every day in our home, what would it be? And they can say laughter. They can say they live in a house of laughter and fun and joy, and in sharing each other's like exciting opportunities and things that come up. And that doesn't mean that there's not challenges. It doesn't mean that there's not meltdowns and things that happen. And I really love what you said about them, kids having control. And when they lose that control, I really believe that behavior is the beginning of behavior is not intention. It is reaction, and it is self securing and kind of protecting themselves from whatever outside environmental thing that's coming in. And that is the core of what people need to look at when addressing behavior. It's not how we can change this person to act differently, but what happened
Yeah. What happened?
to from what came in and went wrong at the very beginning.
I love that you
Yeah.
said that. Yeah. Yep. And these are common conversations that I have with my kids. Even this morning on the way to school, there was a conversation about so and so wasn't treating somebody at school right, and my comment was, and you have to ask, you know yes, it's unfortunate that it happened and we have to see if that person is okay. But what's really important is what had that child do that in the first place? Like what happened, right?
Mhm.
And my philosophy is like hurt people hurt people. And so
Mhm.
we can look at what that child
Yeah.
did and say he's bad or she's bad, horrible, horrible. But then really like, why are they doing it? What is it that they need?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What human need are they expressing that we are overlooking with ideas that it has to be a societal behavior that they have to conform to? So, yeah, I think that once we start recognizing, and it's funny, I was just saying to my husband earlier today because we were just talking about autism advocacy and how to kind of present yourself out in the world. And I thought, next time I'm going out and I'm with someone, I'm going to say, this is my human husband. This is my human son. This is my human daughter, and really just emphasize like, this is just a human. We're all humans. And this is my family that I bring with me.
People. Yeah.
Just a little education.
Well,
I
it
think,
starts with that. It starts with little references to that. And,
yeah,
like you said earlier, you alluded to like in the 70s, because I was a 70s and 80s baby. It was not, we were, I just feel like a little bit disrespected and we were meant to be seen and not heard. And
dismissed. Yeah.
it created, a people pleaser in me, and it created things in me that I'm now undoing and
Yes.
know where it came from.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, we're gonna have to have a really great talk after this too. Well, before we go today, where can parents and kids find you and your website? Tell us all the good
Awesome.
stuff.
Thank you. So our website is tinychefs.com. Pretty simple
Perfect.
there. And then on there, you can find us on Instagram and you can find us on Facebook. And yeah, and so
Excellent.
there we all are. Yeah.
YouTube videos.
We don't have a lot. We need
Okay.
to get better at that. Yeah.
Eh,
That's my mission.
right. I need to go onto Twitter someday, but I can't use enough words.
Too many platforms
Too
all at
many
once.
platforms.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it was such a pleasure and honor having you on today. And I love that your insightfulness and this program that you have set up in your community. And thank you for doing such a wonderful, wonderful service.
Thank you very much. This was such a wonderful talk. I loved it.
Agreed. Thank you. And we will be in touch.
Hi, and thanks for
Okay.
joining the SJ Child Show. The SJ Child Show brings value to families through education and resources. But the SJ Child Show isn't just about me, it's about us as a community. Join me as we help educate and support our community, help bring kindness and love and inclusion to all. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen and watch. I really appreciate all the support from all of the viewers and listeners, and I just want to let you know I want you to join me on this journey. Come and follow my social media, and let's do this together. Enjoy the show. Introducing Autism Vehicle Home Safety Kits, Emergency Responder, alert stickers, personal profiles with autism needs and a communication board, masks and earplugs, keeping families and emergency responders educated and safe. Get yours today at sjchilds.org. Helping autism families impact their child's developmental milestones through home relocation, community resources, and home designs. For every 3 homes Natalie Castro sells, she funds and designs a sensory room for a community center servicing individuals with autism. She volunteers to coach law enforcement, first responders, and ER nurses how to have a positive experience for individuals on the autism spectrum. The SG Child Show, produced by SG Childs LLC. Thanks to all my viewers and listeners for your continued love and support. And thank you to the guests of the SJ Child Show. It's been an honor to have you on the show. Thank you to everyone who continues to support me. Go to my social media and let's build this community together through kindness, compassion, and education for others.